let's dive in. Let's do a deep dive exploration of the psychological illusion, the grand illusion that's been screwing up all of our lives. Let's explore it. Let's analyze it objectively. So this is the illusion that feeling doesn't always come from thought in the moment, right? That sometimes it comes from somewhere else. So let's explore that for a minute. Yeah, so sometimes when we say feeling comes from thought in the moment, people have holdouts. They're like, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, what about in this situation? And so one of the holdouts is, well, maybe sometimes, no, I get it. I get that feeling comes from thought in the moment most of the time, but what about in this situation? What about in that situation? So, and funnily enough, when they're saying, what about in this situation, that situation, usually it's a situation that they are in and that they're all psychologically messed up about. So like somebody who's having marriage problems, they understand that feeling comes from thought in the moment when it comes to work. They understand it when it comes to family. They understand it when it comes to their kid. They understand it when it comes to money. They understand it when it comes to their job. But the moment they start thinking about their spouse, no, I don't get it. They're making me mad. They're making me upset. We used to be so happy. Why did they stop making me happy? Like all of a sudden they fall for the illusion. And that area of life where they fall into the illusion, unsurprisingly, is the area of life that's all messed up. It's all messed up. And they're trying to fix that area of life, but you can't fix it while you're in the illusion. You've got to free yourself from the illusion. And you'll notice that it almost fixes itself, right? That it's no longer really a psychological problem. You might still have a logistical problem because maybe it is the wrong spouse, right? But in all likelihood, it's not the wrong spouse. It's the wrong illusion. Like, if you're in the illusion, every spouse is going to sooner or later look like the wrong spouse, right? And when you're in the psychological reality, every human being in front of you is a miracle. It's like you're grateful for the presence of anyone who's in front of you. Here's another holdout. Some people say, okay, I get that feeling comes from thought, but then this thing that happened is causing my thinking, and that's causing my feeling. And I would say to that, no, you're totally wrong. Things can't cause thinking. How do I know that? You ever been in school and been in a class or at university and been in a lecture, and as the lecturer was speaking, you were imagining your dinner tonight with your friends? Heck, it might even be happening now. Maybe I'm talking and you're just thinking about Eid tomorrow and all the cakes you're going to eat. And oh yeah, there will be cake after I've done all of my measurements. After I've measured up because how ripped I got during Ramadan, yeah, there'll be cake on Eid. But the point is, you could be all people, like everyone could be in the same class right now, but we could all be thinking about different random things. So we're not even thinking about the circumstance that we're in. In a similar way, I will do a bit more of a deep dive into this in a few minutes, but in the same way, we could all be in the same situation and be thinking about different things, and we could all be in totally different situations and be thinking and feeling the same way, because it depends on thought. It doesn't depend on the situation. So nothing has the power to cause thought, but you have the power to think about anything. Write that one down. Nothing has the power to cause thought, but you have the power to think, and you can use that power to think about anything. Another holdout people have is, well, maybe thought plus something equals feeling. Maybe thought plus circumstance. Thought in it, like, and when people say this, they say like, well, anyone who was in my situation would feel the same way. Like, no, they wouldn't. You don't know how anyone else is going to feel in that situation. You don't know how anyone else is going to think in that situation. You're trying to, you imagine that you're justifying the way that you think and feel, which is totally fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with the way that you think and feel, but I think there's a very big miscalculation if you think that everyone on planet Earth, from the most enlightened sage to the most ignorant psychopath, you think they're all going to think and feel the same way in the situation that you're in? I don't think so. Anyone would feel the same way. No. Some people may feel the same way. Some people may feel differently. But it's the illusion that thought plus this particular circumstance, that's what's causing my feeling. No, it's not. Thought causes feeling. And the circumstance is almost irrelevant to the thought and feeling that you're having. This might be time for... Yeah, if anybody has any questions about that, think of it like thought is, well, you know what? Let me just, annotate. Let me see if I can annotate this. Yeah. So think of, like, let's say this circle represents thought, and the situation that you're thinking about is this thing here. And right now you're thinking about the situation in a really angry way. So angry about the situation. Well, the truth is, you might the next day or any 2 minutes later, you might be thinking, this is your thought, and you're thinking about that situation, but now you're thinking about it in a sad way. You see, it's all blue and sad. Oh, I'm so sad about the situation. And then the next moment, you have thought, and you might be thinking about the same situation in a happy way. And then the next moment, you might be thinking about you have thought, you might be thinking about it in a spiritual and calm and peaceful way. The point is, there's no one way in which you're going to think about any particular, like, you can think about the situation hasn't changed. You'll notice in all these diagrams, the situation hasn't changed. But now you're thinking about it angry, you're thinking about it sad, you're thinking about it happy, you're thinking about it spiritual and connected and peaceful, but the situation itself didn't change. Okay, so it's therefore it is totally logical to say that thought plus situation equals feeling. No, thought equals feeling, and you can think and feel in any way about any situation. Okay, hopefully that was clear. Okay, another holdout people have is some people say, well, past situations and experiences cause thought and feeling. And this is the old school therapy model. And I say old school because the psychologists are now starting to clock on to things like mindfulness and positive psychology, and forget about the past. You'll just fall into trouble, just like to be more present moment and future oriented. But past situations and experiences, the idea that causes current moment thinking and feeling is totally erroneous, and it's kind of illogical. How could you possibly know or believe that the stuff that happened to you in the past is the cause of your current moment thinking and feeling? Think about that for a moment. Right now, you're feeling however you're feeling. It obviously comes from your thinking in this moment. Do you have the ability to think in a sad way in this moment? Yes. Do you have the ability to think in a happy way in this moment? Yes. Do you have the ability to think in an angry way in this moment? Yes. You don't need negative past experiences to be upset now. You don't need negative past experiences to be angry now. You don't need positive past experiences to be happy now. All you need is thought in this moment to be angry or sad or happy. So this is something that, like, here's the thing, the past is gone. You don't experience the past anymore. The only way you can even think about the past is through thought in this moment, known as a memory. A memory is current moment thought about the past, as we talked about last week. So yeah, all of the above assumptions, very common assumptions about how the mind works, are all completely 100% false, right? And so I just wanted to blow them all out of the water all at the beginning here.